Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome you personally, as well virtually, at Climagroforum in line with the theme, Let's Make Desert Green Again. This forum takes place at Slovak Pavilion, space for prestigious presentation of our country at the Dubai Expo 2020. My name is Lukáš, and I will be your host during this special presentation dedicated to increasing the water retention capacity of the landscape and nutrients in the soil as a basis for climate action and food security. The topics of water availability for farmers, climate change and land production capacity at the Expo thematic week food, agriculture and livelihoods are really crucial. I would like to welcome the State Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of the Slovak Republic, Mr. Martinom Kováčom, with his opening remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start this presentation, and I will use my help to be good in translation. Najväčšia debata súčasnosti medzi politikmi a vedeckou verejnosťou je, či dokážeme udržať rast priemerných globálnych teplôt pod 1,5 stupňa alebo nie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest debate today between politicians and the general public is whether we can maintain and keep the growth of global temperatures below 1.5 degrees centigrade.
Naše krajiny sa hlásia k cieľom uhlíkovej neutrality v snahe zmierniť rýchle zmeny klímy, rast teplôt a hladín oceánov.
Our countries have pledged to follow the objectives of carbon neutrality, also to mitigate the changes in the climate, the growth of temperatures and the rise in ocean levels.
Súčasne hľadáme odpovede na otázky, ako chrániť oceány pred znečistením, ako obnovovať biodiverzitu a zachraňovať lesy, alebo ako chrániť pôdu pred dezertifikáciou.
At the same time, we look for answers to questions on how to protect the oceans from pollution, how to recover and restore biodiversity, how to recover and save our forests, and also how to protect land from desertification.
Čo je potrebné ešte urobiť, aby naša klimatická akcia a misia boli účinnejšie, udržateľné a úspešné?
What else needs to be done in order for the climate action that we endeavor to be successful, sustainable and prosperous?
Kľúčovým nástrojom riešenia sú voda a pôda. A predovšetkým schopnosť krajiny zadržiavať, spomaľovať a efektívne využívať dažďové vody.
The key tools for this solution are water and soil. And more specifically, the capacity of land to sustain, to retain water, to slow down and effectively use the rainwater resources.
Rozhodujúci je teda osud dažďovej vody od momentu dopadu do krajiny až po jej transformáciu a odovzdanie vody do povrchového odtoku v riečnej sieti.
What's really crucial is the fate of the rainwater from the moment it falls on the landscape all the way up through its transformation and pass over until the surface drainage into the river network.
Je to rozhodujúci priestor, ktorým ovplyvňujeme ako civilizácia alebo jednotlivci v dobrom či zlom.
This is a critical nexus that we determine as a civilization or individuals in good and in bad.
V dnešnej prezentácii vám preto priblížime bližšie väzby vodných a uhlíkových cyklov, obehu živín, objasníme úlohu vegetácie a vody pri distribúcii slnečnej energie v krajine, budeme sa venovať návratu vody do krajiny a obnove kvality pôdy.
In our presentation today, we will therefore bring closer, we will try to explain and discuss the issue of small water cycles and carbon cycles, the nutrient cycle, and we will also talk about the role of vegetation and water in the distribution of solar energy in the landscape. And we will talk about returning back water into the landscape and also how to recover soil quality.
Vážené dámy, vážení páni, milí hostia, vítajte na Climagrofore v slovenskom pavilóne.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, welcome at the Climagroforum in the Slovak Pavilion of the Expo 2020.
Pozývame vás do spolupráce na úžasnom projekte návratu vody do krajiny, a obnovy kvality pôdy kdekoľvek na svete.
We invite you to cooperate on a marvelous project of returning water back into the landscape and in restructuring the quality of soil everywhere in the world.
Je to naša spoločná úloha a misia pre súčasné ako aj budúce generácie.
This is our common task, our common endeavor, and also a mission for current and future generations.
Dnešné fórum a prezentáciu pripravili inovatívne spoločnosti a ich experti zo Slovenska, menovite spoločnosť Waterholistic, Rokosan, Klimatický klub a asociácia pre využitie obnoviteľných a alternatívnych zdrojov v úzkej spolupráci s ministerstvom poľnohospodárstva a rozvoja VIDIEKA Slovenskej republiky.
The presentation today and the forum has been prepared by innovative companies and experts from Slovakia, Waterholistic, Rokosan, the Climate Club, and the Association for Usage of Renewable and Alternative Sources of Energy in close cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of the Slovak Republic.
Teraz sa zamerajme na pôdu. Pôda je najväčšie úložisko uhlíka a najväčší rezervoár vody na kontinentoch.
Let us now focus on soil specifically. Soil is the largest carbon capture facility and the largest reservoir of waters on continents.
Je to zároveň vstupná plocha na zachytávanie všetkých dažďových vod na svete.
It's also the entry point that captures all rainwater all over the world.
Je to nosič vegetačného krytu a priestor vodnej biológie.
It also holds the vegetational surface covering and it is the transferal mechanism of soil biology.
Je to zároveň priestor, kde dochádza k transformácii slnečnej energie v krajine.
It's also a space where the transformation of solar energy in the landscape occurs.
Je súčasťou povodí.
It's part of the river basins.
A zároveň na pôde získavame produkciu, ale pôda poskytuje aj množstvo mimoprodukčných funkcií.
Soil is vital for the food production capacity, but also its non-productive aspects are vital and important.
Poskytuje chladenie.
It, for example, provides cooling
prostredníctvom vegetácie a výparu vody.
by means of vegetation and water evaporation.
Poskytuje priestor pre biodiverzitu.
It also provides necessary surface for biodiversity.
Poskytuje priestor na sekvestráciu CO2, uskladneniu uhlíka v pôde.
It provides the capacity for CO2 sequestration and carbon capture in the soil.
Pomáha človeku.
It helps man
Mať priestor na bývanie
in order to acquire area for living
a na produkciu potravín a energii.
and for the production of foodstuffs and energy.
Prečo teda hovoríme toľko o pôde?
Why do we talk so much about soil?
O pôde hovoríme pretože klimatická akcia na pôde je najúčinnejšie riešenie redukcie rizik, ktorým čelíme, redukcie rizik povodní a sucha.
Because the reason why we talk so much about soil is that the climate action on land is by far the most efficient action that we can take in order to eliminate risks of dry spells and floods.
Celá sada adaptačných a manažmentových opatrení na pôde, dobré hospodárenie s pôdou nám umožní vrátiť vodu späť do krajiny.
A whole set of adaptation and mitigation measures will enable us to restore and recover water in the landscape.
Pomôže nám obnoviť aj produkčnú kapacitu pôdy.
It will help us also to recover and reinstate the water capacity and production capacity of water.
Ak teda hovorím o klimatickej akcii na pôde, čo to znamená klimatická akcia na pôde?
If I talk about climate action on land, on soil, what does it mean?
Ide o adaptáciu, ide o pozitívnu zmenu štruktúry krajiny, ktorej cieľom je to, že pôda a štruktúry krajiny sú pripravené na zrážkový úhrn, kedy dokáže krajina efektívne využívať maximum dažďových vod, ktoré do nej padnú.
What I talk about is a transformation, is a change of landscape capacity in such a way as for the land and the soil covering it in order to increase to the maximum its water retention capacity, rainwater retention capacity, and the ability to withhold this water for further usage.
A medzi tieto adaptačné opatrenia patria vodozádržné opatrenia, ktorým vytvárame priestor v krajine, ktorý dokáže krajina opakovane využiť pri každom zrážkovom úhrne a zároveň robíme protierózne opatrenia.
When we talk about these adaptation measures, we talk about measures of water retention. And this is not only a single-use water retention, but a repeated water retention in every rainfall, or with repeated rainfalls, so in order to maintain this water even during succeeding rainfalls. And another important measure is the anti-erosion provision, or anti-erosion measures.
A preto je veľmi dôležité na tieto opatrenia nadviazať aj obnovou pôdnej biológie.
And that's why we need to follow up with the recovery and restoration of soil biology.
Pomôcť pôde doplniť potrebné živiny.
We need to help soil to recover the necessary nutrients.
A vtedy vieme obnoviť tak produkčné, ako aj mimoprodukčné funkcie pôdy a krajiny.
And then we can recover the productive and non-productive capacities of soil.
Ak teda vieme, že tá adaptačná, teda klimatická akcia na pôde, tieto adaptačné opatrenia a následne ten dobrý manažment sú teda účinné, povedzme si ešte jeden dôležitý fakt.
If we therefore know that the adaptation of soil and the adaptation actions are efficient and effective, let us now discuss another important fact.
Globálne a väčšinou aj regionálne a lokálne sa na kontinentoch medziročne vodozádržná kapacita pôdy a štruktúru krajiny znižuje.
On the global level, as well as on the regional and local level, the water retention capacity of the soil has been decreasing everywhere.
Je to veľmi dôležitý fakt, ak si to uvedomíme v systéme plánovania, stavebníctva, urbánny rozvoj, plánovania rozvoja lesov alebo poľnohospodárskej pôdy.
This is a very important fact that we need to keep in mind whenever we talk about zone planning, urban planning, forestry measures, forestry planning, and also the usage and management of arable land.
Ak teda ľudskou aktivitou a hospodárskym využívaním pôdy dochádza medziročne k znižovaniu schopnosti zdržať a efektívne využívať dažďové vody, niečo nie je v poriadku.
If the human activity, the agricultural use and other uses of soil therefore lead to the annual reduction in the water retention capacity, something is deeply wrong.
To je to, že my musíme do nášho plánovania hospodárenia na pôde včleniť nový element, nový indikátor.
Namely, this is the fact that in our land management use, in our land planning and land usage, we need to insert a new factor, a new indicator.
Hlavným indikátorom nášho plánovania, využívania pôdy a zmeny pôdy je vodozádržná kapacita pôdy a štruktúry krajiny a sledovanie tých medziročných zmien.
So this key indicator that I talk about is the introduction of the water retention indicator of soil and of landscape features.
Dokážeme skutočne pomôcť vrátiť vodu do krajiny, ak naše hospodárske aktivity a využívanie pôdy budeme robiť tým spôsobom, že táto vodozádržná kapacita sa medziročne nebude znižovať.
Can we act in such a way so as to restore this water retention capacity in soil and land, and also to make sure that this water retention capacity will not be decreased in the future?
A k tomu vlastne vieme využiť celý súbor odporúčaní pre oblasť urbánneho rozvoja, pre oblasť lesníctva, pre oblasť poľnohospodárstva, kde práve aj odporúčaniami vieme znížiť to medziročné znižovanie, ale sadou adaptačných opatrení vieme dokonca skokovo tú stratenú vodozádržnú kapacitu vrátiť do krajiny späť.
So what we need is a set of already tested and verified measures that work on the level of urban and zone planning, forestry planning and forestry management, and agricultural management. And also we can also introduce a set of adaptational measures that can enable us to achieve leap and bound improvements in the water retention capacity of the soil and land.
Ak to dokážeme urobiť systematicky, v každom povodí, v každom katastrálnom území obce alebo mesta na svete, dokážeme ovplyvniť obeh vody na našich kontinentoch.
If we can do this systematically in every single municipal zone, in every single river basin, we can improve the water circulation on a global scale.
Vieme ovplyvniť obnovu cirkulácie vody v krajine.
We can influence the recovery and the circulation of water in the landscape.
Zároveň tým vieme v prostredí pedosféry, hydrosféry a troposféry naštartovať pozitívne ozdravné cykly.
Also in the area of pedosphere, troposphere and hydrosphere, we can restart and maintain a healthy restructuration, healthy reconstruction and healthy restoration of cycles.
Vieme prispieť k ozdraveniu klímy.
We can thus contribute to the recovery of the climate.
Mám 3 dobré správy napriek tomu všetkému.
I have 3 pieces of positive news despite all of the negative ones.
To je to, že máme riešenie a to riešenie je teda obnova schopnosti krajiny dobre hospodáriť s dažďovou vodou.
So the first one is that we have the solution. Namely, the solution is the recovery of the landscape capacity to retain rainwater.
Pred 15 rokmi skupina expertov zo Slovenska spolu s českým vedcom Jánom Pokorným zostavila a publikovala prelomovú štúdiu Voda pre ozdravenie klímy, nová vodná paradigma.
15 years ago, a group of Slovak experts, together with one Czech expert, published this book, which is called The New Water Paradigm.
Štúdia poukazuje na kľúčové kauzality systémov voda, pôda, vegetácia a klíma.
The study underlines the key causalities between the ecosystems of water, land, climate, and general quality of life.
A popisuje mechanizmy vysušovania krajiny, distribúcie slnečnej energie v krajine a súčasne opatrenia na ozdravenie klímy.
It discusses the mechanisms of desertification, of water losses, and of other negative implications that we are facing, and it also discusses the possibilities how to revert it and restore the water retention capacities of the land and soil.
Za 15 rokov tento autorský tím urobil obrovský pokrok, pretože preveril tieto svoje zistenia aj v realizačnej praxi, potvrdil meraniami, prepočtami a pretavil ich aj do tvorby komplexných politik na národnej, regionálnej a miestnej úrovni.
15 years since its publication, the team of authors have tested and checked the validity of our hypothesis in practice. Repeatedly, we have been testing the validity of our hypothesis in practice by practical measures, by recalculating, and also by introducing these measures into national plans.
Vznikol tak mimoriadne silný aj medzinárodný tím expertov a spolupracujúcich organizácií na všetkých kontinentoch.
We have thus created a very strong team of experts and cooperating organizations on all continents.
Budeme o tom viacej hovoriť v ďalšej časti ešte prezentácie.
We will talk about it a bit longer in the following parts of the presentation.
A ešte 2 dobré správy.
And 2 other promised positive pieces of news.
Vytvorili sme na Slovensku koncept pôdy ako uhlíkovej a vodnej banky krajiny.
We in Slovakia have created the concept of soil as a carbon and water bank of the land.
Tento koncept nám pomáha oceňovať, ale následne aj financovať ekosystémové služby pôdy a krajiny, čím oceníme úsilie jednotlivca, vlastníka či užívateľa pôdy pri dobrých pôdohospodárskych a pôdoochranných postupoch a dobrom systéme starostlivosti o krajinu.
This system enables us to value and remunerate the actions of individuals on the local level, and thus to motivate them to introduce such measures that will have positive implications for water retention and for climate improvement on the local level, and have direct benefits for the final end users and land managers.
A nadväzne na tento koncept pripravujeme systém evidencie, certifikácie a platieb v tzv. Systéme uhlíkovej a vodnej banky, ktorý bude podporovať úsilie jednotlivcov obhospodárovateľov pôdy.
And as a follow-up, we are preparing a system of registration, certification, and payments in a part of a broader system which is called the soil, the carbon and water bank of the land, that will incentivize the users to take part in these measures.
Pripravujeme vznik klimatického fondu pre pôdu.
We are preparing the establishment of the climate fund for soil.
A tretia dobrá správa.
The third piece of positive news.
Slovensko má medzinárodných lídrov v oblasti holistického prístupu k pôde, vode a klíme.
Slovakia has global leaders in the field of holistic approach to climate, water and soil.
Aktívne sa zapájame do rozpracovania stratégie EÚ pre pôdu do roku 2030.
We are actively participating in the preparation of EU 2030 soil strategy.
A našou snahou je zahrnúť zásady a metodológiu integrovaného manažmentu vodných zdrojov a pôdneho fondu v krajine pri formulovaní a prijímaní legislatívneho rámca EÚ pre pôdu.
Our ambition is to make sure that the integrated approach to water and soil in landscape will be included in the legislative and binding measures that will be introduced on the national and supranational level.
Prijatie týchto zásad nám veľmi napomôže realizovať úspešnú klimatickú akciu na pôde.
The adoption of such principles will enable us to introduce successful climate action on land.
A za týchto predpokladov je reálne možné naštartovať aj procesy, ktoré budú viesť k dosiahnutiu aj uhlíkovej neutrality v sektore pôdy do roku 2035.
With the adoption of such measures, we can truly expect the starting or restarting of processes that will enable us to achieve climate carbon neutrality objectives before 2035.
Predpokladom tejto klimatickej akcie je udržateľný obeh vody, uhlíka a živín v pôde a krajine.
The precondition for such a successful climate action is the successful and fully versatile cycle of water retention in soil and landscape.
Ďakujem za pozornosť.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kováč, for your opening remarks at the Climagroforum. Before we move on, I would also like to introduce a very special guest of ours, representatives of Tanzania. I would like to welcome here Dr. Jessica Nkwabi, Dr. Victoria Kisiombe, and Mr. Charles Maudana. I would also like to welcome our Czech partners from Agris. Our presentation continues in 4 thematic panels. In the first panel, we will focus on the role of the water in the Earth's climate system. In the second panel, we will focus on soil regeneration and on organic fertilizers in the soil. In the third panel, we will focus on an integrated approach and solutions for climate action and food security. In the fourth, final panel, we will present the practical possibilities and advantages of engaging in mutual cooperation. Let me give the floor to Mr. Michal Kravčík from Waterholistic Group. Mr. Kravčík is the holder of Goldman Award for Environment, awarded in 1999 in the USA. In the first panel, he will deal with the complex role of water in the climate system and in solving the problem of climate change. He is one of the international leaders in this field. Mr. Kravčík, the stage is yours.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to be here and to speak for you some knowledges which we developed in Slovakia a couple of years, minimum 3 decades, and we starting to, after Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia, to still prolong how to be more success, effective, and more better solution for protection of water. And we had a lot of ideas, and we are starting debate and to bring and to make research about this knowledge and link to how is long-term processing, distribution of rain, time and space, how is the trouble about its fluctuation of flooding and drought. And we, after that, we publish, like Martin say, about new water paradigm in 2007. It's new water paradigm, it is idea and concept how to bring new concept for protection of water, integration water in system, not only on the lands, 2-dimensional model, but for 3-dimensional model in water cycle. How to protect water in whole water cycle, and we published in 2007. And after that, first time we have in the international auditorium of the summit, climate summit in Copenhagen, and we bring this Košice Protocol for Water, Vegetation and Climate Change. Our idea was to prolong this concept about Kyoto Protocol and Košice Protocol. And we work on this moment on a completely independent level. And after that, we are bringing it on the scientific community special issue of International Journal of Water which was published is concept water and climate recovery system and climate paradigm. And we had, from this time, we are developing Slovakia many local solutions, and we are starting on the community level to develop a lot of idea how to involve local community to participate for protection of water, to recharge water, and special in soil, like Martin say about that. And this concept about this, what is meaning about water for recovery of the climate, and problem is globally when we are humanity accelerate the runoff from the land. What is mean? And we are paving, asphalting, roofing, and change of a lot of space. And rainwater is very fast runoff away from the landscape, damaged landscape to stream, to channel, to stream, to river, and to sea. And only from small Slovakia is only 50 million kilometer length, square kilometer. And annually, average is lost about 250 million cubic meter of rainwater, which before that, with water saturate to soil, produce some ecosystematical services, and after that vapor to atmosphere, and after a vapor and with creation of clouds starting to bring new life by rain again. And we forgot for that. And idea is to how to harvest and to return water to small water cycle. And with 250 million cubic meter in Slovakia, it's annually is about 1% from balance of water from small water cycle. Which means this process was starting after degradation, industrialization of a landscape, and it's from after Second World War, it does now completely close to destroying of small water cycle, because water which are in a small water cycle is its vapor to atmosphere, and after that it's condensate and return again to soil. And we forgot for that. And we forgot that it's all water paradigm still working on the principle rainwater is inconvenience we need to quickly remove. It is in Dubai, it is in Tanzania, it is Mozambique, it is Slovakia, America, Paris, Dakar, everywhere. And if we are calculating globally, annually loss from continent about 760 cubic kilometer of rainwater, it is fresh water, and it is our contribution to sea level rise. If you calculate this concept, how is sea level rise, is annually 2.1 millimeter. But globally, mainstream still speaking, looking, it is about iceberg, not about iceberg. It is directly in our community. We forgot that rainwater needs to be, it is asset, and we need to harvest to soil and to support to biological and chemical processing in bringing new food and to vapor to atmosphere and make cool effect. And another problem about old water paradigm and new water paradigm is about concept soil sealing. It is, has a minimal impact on the water cycle. It's not true. Soil sealing has fundamental impact on the water cycle, and we need to thinking about that and to starting to change urban planning process. We need to change of forest management system, agricultural management system, because we are completely dependent on the rainwater which are followed down from God. And we need to harvest, and we need to bring open space for that, because soil sealing is destroying of small water cycle, and it's we learn on the school that it is water is renewable energy. It is true only in one case, that we cannot change ecosystem. If we are starting to change ecosystem and manage to, for example, from landscape, from forest to road, to highways, to urban planning, and with water loss, and 1 square meter in my country, which is annually precipitation about 700 millimeter, annually lost 500 liters. But after 100 years, 1 square meter is its contribution to loss of water from small water cycle is about 50 cubic meters. It is 50 meter column of water. And we have not this concept on the education system. And we are forgot for that because we are completely dependent on the water. And we just now speaking about water crisis, we are speaking about climate crisis, we are speaking about food crisis. Problem is about water and how we are open door to run off away from our space. Why? We need to change everything because if you are looking about this, and globally only in agricultural land is annually 200,000 square kilometers is completely dry. And in balance, its changes of damaged landscape on globally is about 500,000 square kilometers annually is growing new damage of landscape, which are losing of water, which are losing of photosynthesis process, starting to mineralize of soil, and result is CO2 is in atmosphere and to overheat of atmosphere too. And in my life, when I was in before 50 years, it was temperature in my lands was about in summer 25 degrees, just now it's 35 degrees. And we are start thinking about humping some CO2, but we are forgot water. If you are looking on different space, like in Slovakia and in Egypt, look, this is about Egypt and how it's completely dry. I am sure 1,000 years ago was completely green. And what was happening about that? It is not natural change. It is results from human activities. And if you are looking to second place, it is close to Nile Valley. It is engineer manage of regulate of stream completely, which are completely dry. Why? And to help for runoff rainwater from dry lands. And the same like in Slovakia. The same like Slovakia, we are on the transition process like in African country, for example, or Arabian Peninsula. And we are starting to looking about it globally, what is mean about, for example, how is characteristic of hydrologic cycle and characteristic of rain, and we are just now completely on the shock because look, with this completely depression, no rain especially from north part of Europe, going to Athens, to Egypt, to Khartoum, to another place in Africa and Madagascar, and look how is this change of distribution of monthly precipitation. And why? Because this country with us completely depression is its balance of water in small water cycle is completely zero. Zero, especially in desert zone. And you know who are living close to desert zone. It is couple months no rain, and after that is massive, heavy rain, which is completely heavy storm and heavy floods. Reality and danger for life. And we need just now, for example, it's after completely tragic situation in Madagascar, today is third hurricanes starting to attack to Madagascar. And in October last year it was completely apocalyptic drought. And why? Because it's water in small water cycle is lost. Historically we are dependent for this reality for perspective, and we need to change. It is very bad news. And its relationship between this rain and temperature, look above in Khartoum, and look when it is high level of precipitation and temperature is decreasing. It is in direct online interactive connection between water and temperature regime, because it's cool effect, not CO2. It is cool effect by H2O. And another problem which we need to understand is physical explanation about Earth, planet, air conditioner equipment system, because we forgot on the physics law about saving energy, second thermodynamics law, and so on. And problem is to in explanation is water follow down from clouds, and it's coming to our ecosystem. If directly with sun, results is sun starting to change of water to air, to evaporate of water. And it is solar energy transferred to latent heat. And this latent heat inside on the evapotranspiration and clouds, it is water transport with latent heat from troposphere to coolest atmosphere, colder atmosphere in 3-5 kilometers away. Which is the same model like, for example, air conditioning on the car, the pumping of heat from motor, because we need to make sustainability system for cooling effect of motor in car for permanent working for our needs. And with this, if with water not, it's on the ecosystem, and 1 cubic meter vapor to atmosphere consumes 700 kilowatt hours, which means, for example, in Slovakia, which is decreasing of vapor daily 1 millimeter, we are produced to atmosphere 35 terawatt hours of sensible heat. And all electricity power stations in Slovakia produce annually 22 terawatt hours of energy. And we are just now speaking of the globe about this energy crisis. And energy crisis directly is on our space, in our ecosystem, how we are working and manage of lands. And we need to change about this, because this with dry up of ecosystem, we are starting to produce overheat, which are completely change and create a new chaotic system in the atmosphere. Today is 22nd February 2022, with this magic day, and my idea is to open this boundary between bad news and good news. Bad news, it is about this degradation of balance of water in nature. Look about this. It is decreasing of infiltration water to ecosystem, to soil, and after that it is decreasing of vapor water from ecosystem and not growing of vegetation. And results, it is decreasing of balanced water in small water cycle and loss of precipitation. And it is the same was in Sahara region, in Arabic Peninsula and Persia, in historically. The same model which are completely destroying from human change of balance of water and destroying of small water cycle, its result is completely bad. It's bad news. But good news is completely very simple solution, easy solution, more effective solution, because if we are starting to harvest every cubic water from rain, from God, we are harvest and this water vapor to atmosphere, and after 80 days in small water cycle is recycling average in 8 days, is starting to return again to our ecosystem. Which means after couple years we completely can to change everything we are bring water to Arabian Peninsula, to Sahara region, because if I look in couple of days before, on, for example, in Nigeria, in Tanzania, I look that there is a lot of challenges, how is possible to decreasing of extremality of heavy rain, together with starting to very often raining of rain, which is very positive effect from rainwater harvesting. It is not only about fertilizing of soil, like Martin said, but it's another contribution about is ecosystem services in climate recovery needs which we need for our society. And my idea is today, 22 February 2022, we are massive starting to restore our small water cycle, not only in Slovakia, but in Tanzania, in Nigeria, Arabia, everywhere in Persian Gulf, everywhere, because we are completely dependent, and we have big challenge and big chance to change about that. And how to be with its complex solution. We in 1 year with Martin we are helped to build in Slovakia only 1 year about 100,000 water retention measures, which are in one case even to recycling can to be returned to small water cycle about 10 million cubic meters. And with this job we are creating with poor people, about 10,000 people which are working together with us to rainwater harvesting system, to ecosystem, not rainwater harvesting only for our needs to our house. We need to rainwater harvest to agricultural land, to forest, because this is good condition for biomass production, food production, and stabilization of whole climate system. And this is different simple solution about that. And this is we are close to finish. This is Global Action Plan for the Restoration of Small Water Cycle and Climate. This is very simple. On the planet Earth living 7 billion people, approximately. If everybody from us create 100 cubic meter of water retention measures, which is job for 1 week, and from 4 members family is this job for 1 month, one guy can to create, and globally is 700 cubic kilometer, and we are starting to reverse whole system and to pumping water to small water cycle, and will be completely change everything and our life. This is very easy for to understanding, because investment $3 trillion is only 1% from global GDP. Not 5, not 20%, but only 1%. This is one big effect. More than 100 million new jobs everywhere. Another is 50 billion tons CO2 can to sequestrate to biomass and soil, and to starting to regenerate of soil. Another is about this 300 billion crop yield increase annually. Another benefit, reduction of damage from the natural disaster, 500 billion per year. Another benefit, we are creating new water sources. It is about 140,000 cubic meters per second, which means globally we completely have new chance to not only to how to decreasing of my needs, for example, from 200 or 100 liters per day to 50 liters per day, but we have more water because we are water too. And another benefit is sensible heat reduce significantly each year 300,000 terawatt hours of energy. And the same is produced of latent heat to atmosphere, and it's completely fine. And sea level decline more than 2 millimeters annually. And another benefit is decreasing annual temperature -1 degrees, and it's eco-restoration, economical recovery of planet Earth against water, food, climate, and social crisis. And please help for that. It is mission for all of us. It is a challenge for all of us to be to help for planet Earth, because we are human generation, and we need to be more responsible for that. Thank you for your attention, and if you have some question, we are ready for you today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kravčík, for comprehensive messages about the role of water in the Earth's climate system and the procedures for returning water to the landscape and improving the climate. Now, let me introduce Dr. Adam Szöke, MBA from Rokosan company. Mr. Szöke will speak in the second panel on the complex benefits of organic fertilizers in soil restoration and soil fertility.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present you Rokosan's vision of the role of soil in climate change. The main topic of my presentation will be the importance of the soil and its revitalization with help of amino acid organic fertilizers. First of all, I would like to start my presentation with pointing out why is soil important for climate change. Soil, along with the water, are the biggest storages or banks of carbon on the Earth. However, the soil capability to store carbon is tied to water content. Quality and moisture of the soil is greatly influenced by nutrition and fertilization. Soil is our national treasure, and we have to work together to protect it from degradation. The main aim of the presentation is to show how we can stop soil degradation and promote the sustainable agriculture. I would like to present a very simple equation. Poultry feathers utilized to organic fertilizers equals healthy soil. You may ask, why is poultry feather so important? Poultry feather has several specifics which are making it a superior raw material for fertilizer production. Why is it superior? Poultry feather itself contains ample amount of basic nutrients along with the more than 18 essential amino acids. Additionally, poultry feather also contains several repellent particles which could fight the mosquito infestation. Poultry feather is a side product of poultry farming. It is considered as a dangerous material, a category 3, which is usually treated by burning, digging up into soil, or unfortunately, it's being dispersed in the environment without any treatment. Of course, there are some economical utilization of poultry feathers, such as production of poultry feather meal in powdered form or production of pillows. However, pillow producers are switching their materials for artificial feathers, and powdered feather meals is used in lower quality animal feed supplements. Most of them are even banned in the European Union, since there is an evidence that it can support in a negative act of cannibalism among the animals. Rokosan owns the patent for utilization of poultry feathers into highly efficient organic fertilizers. Our technology is wasteless, and the final products have high content of NPK, amino acid, humic acids, and fulvic acids. Currently, there is an abundance of poultry feathers across the globe, and it allows us to presume that almost any country could become self-sufficient in production of Rokosan organic fertilizers. Due to renewable character of the feathers and increasing poultry production capacity, we are confident that our model has a sustainable future. But you may ask, why should we care about organic farming in regards to climate change? Let's look at this topic in more detail by adding an amino acid nutrition to the soil, we are accelerating several processes at the same time, which in the end lead to more effective and sustainable agriculture. One of the most important moments is the growth of number of microorganisms in the soil after input of our fertilizers. Rokosan fertilizers were tested by Institute of Microbiology of Academy of Sciences of the Republic of Uzbekistan in 2021. The results of the test were the evidence of growth of ammonification bacteria in soil treated with our fertilizers. These bacteria are very important for organic natural nitrogen circle. Soil filled with ammonification bacteria is accelerating its humus production and thus making it fertile in the long run. This is very much an opposite in the case of azotobacter-based fertilizers, which are in the long term decreasing the soil fertility due to bacteria literally eating all the nutrients in the soil and making the soil more prone to erosion. Soils with a higher organic content are known for their better water retention qualities. The higher the organic content produced from decomposing processes, the higher is the ability of soil to absorb water. This is where ammonification bacteria step in. This is connected to sequester of CO2, which is beneficial in fighting the climate change. Studies show that the wetter the soil is, the higher amount of CO2 it can absorb. For example, one of the most prominent areas for sequester of CO2 are wetlands and boreal forests. However, farmland is the second worst after desert. And this is why it's important to manage water and to be retained also in a farmland. Humic acids represent in Rokosan fertilizers chemically change the fixation properties of the soil, such with benefits as neutralization of both acids and alkaline soils, regulation of pH in the soil, and improving and optimizing the uptake of nutrients and water by plants. Humic acids has an excellent binding properties and electrostatic interaction with heavy metals, leading to metal-organic complexes. In comparison, the chemical fertilizers such as urea often contain heavy metals and pollutants such as lead, cadmium and nickel, which degrade the soil fertility in the long run and also pollute the crops and water sources. Amino acids present in our fertilizers amplify plant defense responses and act as a critical regulator of plant systemic acquired resistance, defense priming, and local resistance to bacterial pathogens. This is crucial for the plants to be resistant to extreme weather conditions such as drought, floods, freezing temperatures or strong wind, along with the resistance to the pests, fungi or bacteria. Plants' resistance is also benefiting from colloidal effects of our fertilizers. Rokosan technology is composed by three main components. Rokolan, a soil activator and direct replacement for NPK fertilizers to be used before season. Rokoactive as germination activator for treating the seeds before sowing, and Rokohumin as foliar fertilizers to promote the plant immunity and development during all growing phases. Our technology can fully replace the chemical fertilizer used in agriculture. By decreasing the usage of chemical fertilizers, we are able to lower the degree of soil degradation, loss of fertility, and environmental damage caused by harmful chemicals. Rokolan is our basic starter fertilizer, which is utilized by spraying into soil before sowing. Its main benefit is that it can fully replace the need for traditional chemical fertilization, and thanks to its properties, it promotes the long-term fertility of soil. Such product is very important in a long-term perspective if we are fighting the desertification. By enhancing the natural fertility of soil, we can rapidly increase the chance of survival of newly planted plants in arid regions. As mentioned earlier, thanks to utilization of our fertilizers, plants can resist harsh conditions and withstand the unstable weather conditions such as drought and lack of sunlight. Our secret is to promote the root system, which will store the sufficient amount of nutrients and water to survive in such unstable conditions. Essential amino acids help with the overall condition of the plant and support the synergic effect of nutrients presented in a rokoland. Rokoactive is seed treatment, which is beneficial for both traditional farmers and tree planters. Thanks to its chemical properties, we are able to promote initial growth of the plants in even the harshest of conditions. Seed treatment is a very important task before sowing. By choosing Rokoactive, you increase the probability of tillering of the seeds and accelerate the rooting phase. Stronger root system will be beneficial to later growth stages. Another important effect is protection against common diseases and fungi, which can harm the seeds during the initial phases of the growth. Rokohumin is amino acid organic fertilizer to be utilized by spraying on the foliage of the plants. By foliar application, plants absorb the nutrients and amino acids directly into system, which enhance several processes such as photosynthesis. Thanks to several applications during the season, we can satisfy the nutritional needs of the plants and enhance their productivity. Here are some of the results of using Rokohumin fertilizer on different types of cultures. I believe that many of you have questions. Aren't Rokosan fertilizers less effective than urea, DAP and NPK fertilizers? Aren't organic fertilizers too expensive? After years of research and development, finally our technology is on par with the yields of chemical fertilizers. As for the effectivity of the fertilizers, it is connected to the content of NPK, amino acids, humic and fulvic acids, along with the clever utilization of our treatments during respective phases of the plant's growth cycles. Our products were tested numerous times on different types of cultures and weather conditions. So whether we are using our fertilizers in cold climates of Eastern Europe, humid regions of Central America, or arid areas of Sub-Saharan Africa, productivity stays the same. Even during the extreme conditions, our fertilizers show their excellency through amino acids-induced resistance of the plants. And the best thing about our technology is its price competitiveness in comparison to chemical fertilizers. Not only we are more efficient, but we are also cheaper. Another benefit for the farmers is that farmers will get any additional income from selling the organic crops. And what are the areas where we can use our technology? Of course, in traditional view, main areas of our activities are farming and forestry. But due to remediation characteristic of our products, we can also work on landfill reclamation projects, enhancing the amino nutrition by fertilizing the grass on the meadows. And the most importantly, we can fight the desertification and participate in Green Wall of Sahara project. The last and the most relevant segment of my presentation will show you how can we fight the desertification and climate change. The fight against desertification is connected to water. Water is the secret to success of every replantation effort, and any project which deals with the desertification and does not improve the small water cycles of area is destined to fail. By utilizing the management techniques for the water presented by Waterholistic team, we are able to change the ecosystem permanently. By adding more water to the area, we are making soil more prepared for the greening process. Plant nutrition in form of Rokolan, Rokoactive and Rokohumin will enhance the greening process and increase the quality of the soil. Thanks to synergy with water management techniques, we can create a new ecosystem which will be sustainable. Only after successful implementation of both practices we can plant the new plants. Without it, we are sentencing the saplings to the death by absence of nutrition and water. We propose to join our forces and start with the pilot project to promote the ideas of the Green Wall of Africa. We are ready to provide our joint know-how and expertise to make this dream a reality. So our main goal is to restore the microorganisms and the soil bacteria using innovations in the field of animal waste treatment. By using an amino acid nutritional complex and its impact on greening of the landscape, we are ready to reduce the soil degradation and restore the humusoid layer, which will in the return reduce the dependence on chemical fertilizers. We offer a fully fledged alternative and substitute for chemical fertilizers. One of the plans could be creating a tanks with so-called living water, where we would enrich part of the purposely retained water for irrigation systems with amino acid, and such living water would become a fully fledged elixir for the irrigation area. And of course, very important aspect is the interconnection of plant and animal production in the system of circular bioeconomy, because without healthy crops and healthy meat, we are never going to be healthy. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to join our forces and let's make a desert green again together. On behalf of company Rokosan, Climate Club, Waterholistic and Association of Renewable Energies, I am very thankful for this opportunity to present my ideas, and I believe that soon we will see the practical use of our know-how. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to see you again.
We would like to thank Dr. Adam Szöke from Rokosan Company for astonishing information on the role and benefits of organic fertilizers and the possibilities of their sustainable production. In the following third panel, we will focus on introducing a complex approach to the management of water resources and land in the landscape. In some cases, the concept of integrated management will be applied. In others, a holistic approach will follow. We need a plan. We have a plan. Systematically increasing the water holding capacity of land and landscape structure at local, regional, national, continental and global levels. We can calculate, price, implement, plan, measure, monitor and evaluate the effectiveness of our solutions before and after implementation. There is a global framework, continental framework, national framework, regional framework and local framework. Each is short GAP, CAP, NAP, RAP, LAP, meaning Global Action Plan, Continental Action Plan, National Action Plan, Regional Action Plan and Local Action Plan. Local envelope. It means that local water and soil planning and plans of integrated rainwater and soil management as base of our planning. Let's introduce territorial unit of climate action, CPX. 1 CPX is 1 square meter, 1 CKPX is 1000 square meters, and 1 CMPX is 1 million square meters, meaning 1 square kilometer. A country in size of 1 million square kilometers has 1 million CMPX. A country of 50,000 square kilometers has 50,000 CMPX. The biggest climatic asset of your country is its size. The greatest social capital is its inhabitants. Why CPX? Because every square meter, every hectare, every square kilometer is crucial. It affects the hydrology, biology, and the way the landscape cools, thus influencing the evolution of the climate, the large and small scale circulation of water, the conservation of carbon in the soil. In 2010, we formulated and have since tested principles for integrated management of water resources and land in the landscape. We have tested the functionality of the principles. Putting an integrated approach to water and soil management into practice is the biggest change in approach to landscape and also the most targeted and effective. This change is positive in many synergies. It would be negative if we did not implement it. A new culture of stormwater management, a new generation of water and land planning, integrated water and land management, a change in relationship to land, a change in attitude to the role of stormwater and vegetation in the landscape, is a natural response to fundamental climate change and the need for targeted and effective climate action. The new role of farmers, landowners and land users. Every landowner, every land user, every citizen, every property manager contributes to addressing risk reduction, soil restoration and climate recovery by the amount of land they own, the amount of land they farm, the amount of land they care for, the amount of land they are responsible for. A new, sustainable source of income for farmers, landowners and land users, the participation of landowners, users or managers and local communities, is a real opportunity for new source of income, alongside the return from production on the land. Maintaining and restoring the non-productive functions of the land and the ecosystem functions of the landscape should be transparently valued and funded for the benefit of everyone, because the balanced maintenance of the productive and non-productive functions of the land, its good water holding capacity, as well as the conservation of soil carbon and nutrients are the basis for climate action and the long-term productive stability of the land. It takes 1.4 kg of CO2 to grow 1 kg of dry biomass that contains 0.4 kg of net carbon. The ratio of sequestration and fixation of CO2 into biomass in the form of carbon is thus 3.5. The reverse is also true for soil degradation. In addition, soil degradation also reduces the ability to absorb rainwater, and a landscape without functioning vegetation and sufficient water is more likely to overheat. The ratio of the distribution of solar energy between sensible and latent heat. From model measures and pilot sites to comprehensive deployment at the local, regional and national level, legislative and conceptual changes, we have tested all levels of deployment of water conservation measures, including the methodology of procedures for discussing them as a conceptual document for integrated planning at local, regional and national level. We have designed action plans at the global level and for continents. Thank you, Your Excellency Martinom Kováčom, Mr. Kravčík and Mr. Szöke, for providing us with the extensive framework of benefits for increasing soil water holding capacity, landscape structure and synergies with soil restoration and soil fertility. Let us conclude the presentation with a focus on the possible way forward, our next steps and potential opportunities for collaboration. From GAP to national envelope, National Action Plan. We are just one small step short of achieving comprehensive national economic and global results. The step is working with you and your country. Each country has its own national envelope available in a relatively short period of time, which is a national action plan for integrated stormwater and soil management as an integral part of the global action plan we have been talking about. Each country has its own carbon and water bank. It is your soil and landscape. Every country has its own carbon and water bank, which is your land and the land area of the whole country. This bank can in fact always enhance your natural resources, social capital and national economy. By taking good care of the soil and rainwater, we can return water to the country and increase the supply and availability of water in the country. Let's make desert green again. We invite you to collaborate on the #1 global eco-innovation of restoring the productive capacity of the soil, restoring the Earth's ecosystems and healing the climate on every continent and its regions. In doing so, the #1 role is played by good stormwater and soil management, restoring small-scale water cycles in the landscape. We look forward to working together. As we are nearing to the end of our presentation, we would like to open the space for mutual discussion, bilateral talks, and networking. Thank you for your time and attention during today's Climagroforum to important topics such as returning water back into the land and restoring soil fertility.